So, folks, to all my listeners, from the East Coast to the West, from the North to the South, from Florida to Ohio, from New York to California, I have a problem. I have a serious problem. And it's odd that I come back to back with a show. But something came up that really just pissed me off to the highest pistivity. And it just proved a point on all the previous shows in which I spoke on. And we'll dive into this. Oh, my Atlanta. I hope you got yours, because I got mine. Let's do this.
They say that America is divided politically, and we kind of agree. There's the dumb, and then there's us.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that too harsh for the little snowflakes?
This is Right, Left, and Center. This is Right, Left, and Center. No matter what's going on in today's news, politics, social, environment, culture, we're talking about it unabashedly. Real, raw, direct, and funny. Let's rock. This is Right, Left, and Center. And this is your host, Will Jackson.
Oh, shit. I'm back. And, I'm not happy. And you know me. It's time for me to piss a lot of people off. But my listeners, I need some help. And I'm going to tell you how you're going to help me. How I like for you to help me. And some people are not going to like it. But everybody know I don't give a fuck what people think about me or what they say. If you want to say something about me, get your own fucking show and I'll listen to the bullshit. But I want to talk about a little racism attached to divorce. Focused on a little sidebar shit that doesn't make any sense for anybody to be contributing to. Facts are facts. Oh man, I want to get to this. There's this motherfucker, I'm just going to give his first name right now, and then I'll drop his last name. And then, before I give my final words, I'm going to give you his fucking phone number, and I want everybody to call his ass. I want you to call him, and I want you to tell him that he's a racist piece of shit. He doesn't have his facts correct. He doesn't understand what's going on. And if I find his address, I'll get that to you too. But what I really want is for you fine folks to flood his phone. And so I'll refer to him to Mr. Fuckface until the end of the show. Okay? And I got his number, so I'm going to send him a copy of this show so he understands what the deal is. So let's talk about racism. So I got this gentleman who came to me and he says to me, "Hey, Will, I'm going through this divorce. And so, you know what I do. And let me tell you who this gentleman is. He's my stepson, or I like to call him my son. I'm not going to give his name, but I'm just going to simply say he's a good man. So his current wife, who he's trying to divorce, and she's being a bitch and being a fucking gold digging bitch and lying about this and that and don't understand what the fuck is going on. Goes back and tells her mama, whose brother is in her mama, and the brother lives in Florida. In the I'll save it. But they live in Florida. And so she calls and she gives her all this fucked up information and then turns around and it's all wrong. And then she turns around and then she, her uneducated ass turns around and starts running her nut rest. And she really shouldn't be running her nut rest. What she should have in her mouth is a dick. Okay? And then the son needs to have a dick in his mouth also. Because the one thing I cannot stand, and everyone listens to me and knows this, and a lot of you email me this. Now, first of all, let me take a step back. For those of you who are new listeners, I'm going to explain I am not that guy. Let me say it again. I am not that guy. And so let me explain why I am not that guy and why I hate racist motherfuckers. My grandfather hails from Jamaica. He's white. He served in the Royal Army in World War II as a first lieutenant. That's what he did. He migrated to Ohio under a sponsorship after the war, and he met my grandmother, who is black, and was one of the first married couple, interracial couples in Alliance, Ohio. Well received in Alliance, Ohio. Now, my son is black. His soon-to-be ex-wife is white. Their children, my grandchildren, are mixed. The most beautiful children in the world. I mean, gorgeous. I'm not going to say their names, but they're so gorgeous. All girls and one boy. And this bitch allows her brother and her mama in front of his children and my grandchildren call their father a nigger, a spook. What's that other word? Let me see here. Let me look that up here. I got to send all this information. Let's see. Coon. That's what it was. A coon. Niggers ain't worth shit. The nigger ain't worth shit. He can't take care of his kids. I drink on every episode. But I get up every morning and go do what I do. And guess what? He drinks, but guess what? He has a high-paying job at a high-level company, and he gets up every fucking day. You know, he did a lot for this ungrateful bitch. I'm sorry. I gotta say it. And you know, everybody know me. I keep it real and I keep it raw. If you're offended, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Okay? But he's done a lot. He's put a roof over her head, provided her with great children, this bitch really didn't have to pay any damn bills. They're living in a home that's well over $250,000 or even more. Okay? You're talking about $500,000. And he is so focused on his children. And he is so focused on what needs to be done. He's not a drunk. He doesn't drink like that. He doesn't drink like this motherfucker is talking about. He doesn't know what the fuck is going on. First of all, he's uneducated. In Florida, I am so sorry you got this motherfucker living in your backyard. I am so sorry, Florida. And I got a lot of great listeners in Florida. I'm going to tell you what, and I love all my listeners. But this motherfucker is a prime example of that fucking DeSantis and fucking Trump. He's a bitch. Just like the rest of them. You know, I would love for him to actually walk into a big city in Florida, around a bunch of black and brown folk. I would love for him to walk in the middle of everybody and call them spics, niggers, coons. I would love for. I wonder what would happen to him. See, here's the sad thing about this fucker. All the words that he's speaking, he probably can't spell it. He probably can't read or write. He probably got a 6th grade education. His mama probably got a 5th grade education. They out there fucking with the pigs. Oh, don't come after mine. So when the uncle calls the father a nigger, a spook, what is he saying about his children? And the mother is allowing the children to be around them. And he can't do anything about it. He can't even go to his own fucking home right now. And she's trying to break him. Now, keep in mind, I'm looking from the outside. I don't know the full details of what's going on. You know what? Don't want to know. That's not for me to know. And he doesn't disclose that. So let me make that perfectly clear. He doesn't disclose that. He doesn't disclose anger or anything. But this right here took him over the top. I'm going to disclose some more information. And I'm going to tell you something. I need all my listeners from New York to California, from North Dakota to South Dakota to Ohio, Kentucky, all my listeners, Texas, Florida. I'm going to drop this bitch's number. I want you guys to call and put his ass in check. Because the shit doesn't make any sense. More after this.
For a podcast that takes you beyond the headlines, a show that challenges you, a show that's real, raw, and unapologetic, then you've found your new home. Right, Left, and Center.
Right, left, and center.
News, the environment, immigration, politics, the criminal justice system, and everything in between. Join Will Jackson every week, your personal guide to understand the week's news, the world, and how America shapes it. Listen everywhere podcasts are available. You're listening to Left, Right, and Center, your audio guide to help you understand the week's news, the world, and how America shapes it. Now, back to your host, Will Jackson.
Come and listen to a story about a man named Jed. A poor mountaineer barely kept his family fed. And then one day he was shooting at some food, and up through the ground come a bubbling crude oil, that is, black gold, Texas tea. Well, the first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. The kinfolk said, Jed, move away from there. Said, California is the place you ought to be. So they loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly Hills, that is, swimming pools, movie stars. The Beverly Hillbillies. Now it's time to say goodbye to Jed and all his kin. They would like to thank you folks for kindly dropping in. You're all invited back next week to this locality to have a heaping helping of their hospitality. Hillbilly, that is. Set a spell. Take your shoes off. Y'all come back now. Here?
Ding, 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 motherfucker!
Ding, ding, motherfucker. I'm now in. It's only popping. Hey, you know what? Australia, Ireland, France, England, Italy, Greece, Mexico, my listeners in Japan. Feel free to call this fucker and speak in your language. Cuss him out. Call him the number one racist in America. Well, no, not really. I can think of other few names, but I will put him up there. Now, here's what he said. You're a sorry, dumbass Marine. You are an embarrassment to the Marine Corps. And you do not represent the Marine Corps. Now, let me share something here. Okay. The only thing this cat is served is probably a pig's dick up his ass. That's probably the only thing he served. His ass up to a pig. That's one. And he probably has a relationship with one of his cousins as well. Another thing is that he's saying this about him, and he served in the Marine Corps. He served in Afghanistan. He's a war hero. He is decorated. He's honorably discharged. He has a high-paying salary. He is a pillar of his community. He's respected amongst his friends. And he keeps calling him a dumbass, a nigger, etc.
A spook, a goon.
A spook, a goon. Yeah. Well, he's in my studio right now, but he's somewhat listening to me, but he's sulking in a corner right now because he can't believe all this is going on. And I'm telling him, you really need to keep your head up because there's nothing to be upset about. Because when you have an uneducated mind and a small mind paired with another small mind, adding in another small mind, you tend to have you're fucking genius at this point. Okay? See, where you may have, and you know, listen to me. Look at me when I tell you this. Where you may have an IQ of 136, okay, or 140, or 150. These motherfuckers got IQs of 50, 60, okay? Those IQs are near the disability mark, okay? And so they're not doing anything productive. They're probably not even up on their taxes, okay? They were trying to live off of their sister and daughter and her success through you. Okay? And so they can no longer do that because you filed for divorce. Okay? And you are contesting all the shit that she's talked about. See, let me back that up. Sometimes I get wrapped around the axle. So this chick filed for divorce because before she got busted, she was cheating on him with another man. Okay? And then she was sending him texts about this, that, whatever, you know. I don't know the length of the text or whatever. I can't speak on it, but I can just simply say they were not good texts. She tried to lie on him. Now, I heard this third hand that I guess they had this little thing, excuse me, where they would, you know, when they were together, they used to cuddle or something like that. And when they cuddle, it turned into something more. Okay. So I guess she had mentioned something about cuddling for the last time. And then tried to say he was trying to rape her. You see where I'm going? Gold digging bitch. I'm going to speak to you directly because I'm not going to call your name out because you haven't done anything that is terribly wrong. And the reason why I say that is because you're so dumb you don't even know better. So we're going to forgive you on that fact. But I'm going to tell you from my personal opinion, you do not deserve to be a mother. You do not deserve to have custody of my grandkids. You do not have the right to be in my son's house. You are bringing in your boyfriend, and how I know this shit is real is because he has cameras in the fucking house, and what you've done is turn off the fucking cameras so you can sneak your boyfriend in his house. You piece of shit. Oh my Atlanta. Oh my Atlanta. Then you have the nerve. You have the nerve to allow your brother to call the father of your children, who he has provided for unconditionally and also provides for your broke ass and provided for your broke ass, to call him a nigger, a spick, a spook, a coon? What kind of mother are you? What kind of mother are you? You too need to have a dick in your mouth. More after this.
Have you been looking for a podcast that takes you beyond the headlines? A show that challenges you. A show that's real, raw, and unapologetic. Then you've found your new home. Right, left, and center.
Right, left, and center.
News, the environment, immigration, politics, the criminal justice system, and everything in between. Join Will Jackson every week, your personal guide to understand the week's news, the world, and how America shapes it. Listen everywhere podcasts are available. You're listening to Left, Right, and Center, your audio guide to help you understand the week's news, the world, and how America shapes it. Now, back to your host, Will Jackson.
Bum 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 bum. Hey, I hope you got yours, cause I got mine. I'm telling you what, it's I love my shit. I hope my listeners are digging. And you know what, folks? All right, so stop emailing me about getting a post office box to send me vodka and tequila. I'm not gonna do it because I made so many people mad out there. Who knows what I'm gonna get at this post office box? So that's not gonna happen. So I appreciate the offers. I've got, offers for some type of Guinness type liquor or whatever it is from Ireland. I've got offers for wine in Italy, in Greece. I've got offers for some type of tequila, some real strong, good tequila from Mexico. Some sake. I've got offers for that. I'm gonna tell you what, folks. I really appreciate that, and I'm glad you like what I bring to you every week, every month. And also, on the 100th show, I will be doing a live show. I decided to do a live show on my 100th show, and it's going to be a party. We're going to make it a party, okay? And if you have any suggestions on any topics, or if you actually want me to rehash on your favorite episodes, remember to email me at leftrc22@gmail.com. That's leftrc22@gmail.com. Now, let's get back to this. Let's talk about man's rights. Let's talk about a man not being pushed aside. Let's talk about child support laws. Let's talk about what should happen to those who send racially charged messages to people that they don't even have the facts on. Now, freedom of speech. Let's start there. Freedom of speech allows an individual to express their opinions that does not charge violence. And everybody knows I do not like to perform violence or ask people to go out and do violence. What I'm asking people to do is to call 863-633-8275 and ask him, why does he have to get involved with something that he has no business getting involved? Why is he down talking and being disrespectful to a highly decorated Marine who fought in Afghanistan and a great father? You know, Andrew Rabady. I don't even know if he can spell his own fucking name. Maybe his mama has to give him a stencil so he can, hell, she might need a stencil. But you know what? Like I said, I'm not calling for violence. I'm calling for people to call his motherfucking ass up at 863-633-8275. That's a Florida number. And if you live in Florida and you know this fucker, call him up and ask him, so what's the deal? Let me get into a man's rights. So I believe that a man has as much right as a woman to have custody of their children. Okay? See, this is my second marriage. So my first marriage, it ended, and I had custody of my daughters. And I raised my daughters. And then when their mother came back into the picture, which, by the way, she's not a bad person. She never was a bad person. But when she came back into the picture, being responsible parents, we did the right thing. And we shared custody. Okay? So there was no back and forth, a bunch of bullshit behind it. Okay, so that was easy for me. But when a man is being thwarted through the court system, and by the way, she did file for the divorce. I had to correct myself. I don't know if I corrected myself, but she did file for the divorce. And she did that so that way she can try to get him for whatever she thought she was going to get. She actually thought she was going to get like the sale of the house and all of this and that, and it just didn't work out for her. So she's kind of fucked on that end. And she has to go by court standards. But here's the thing. I don't believe that a woman should be allowed to force a man into a position when going through a divorce and they didn't have no significant contributions, not only to the marriage, but to the financial state of that household. Especially when that man is taking care of the children as much as the other parent. And I think that's where our court system falls short. That's my opinion. That's only my opinion. I might rub some people the wrong way, but you already know I don't give a fuck. If you don't like it, get your own fucking show and say what you want. Don't forget to call 863-633-8275 and say hello to Andrew. What's up, you sweet bitch? You gonna eat your cornbread? And not only that, he has to pay her X amount of dollars a month. And I don't believe that includes child support. And so it doesn't matter to him about the child support. He don't care because he wants his daughters to have, and his son to have, the best life possible. I mean, he talks about prom dresses and buying their first car and, and chasing boys off the porch and, having his son in sports and, wanting his son to get a higher level education and do great things. And, you don't hear that from this chick. This skinny chick, I'm going to tell you something, man. When you talk about a fucking bean pole, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My left leg got more meat on it than her whole fucking body. Look like a fucking miniature scarecrow. Anyway, I know you don't like that, but I'm just this is what I do. I'm sorry, man. You insult mine, I'm gonna insult you. It's just that simple. You don't stick she could have actually just stuck up for him and said, look, you gotta leave my house. That's my kid's father. I don't give a damn how mad I am at him, but you're not going to call him no nigger. You're not going to call him a spook. You're not going to do that.
And ask me if I want some goddamn bananas.
And ask him, do he want some damn bananas? I mean, you're not going to do that. She couldn't defend him. So fuck her. And the horse she rode in on. Looking like a female version of Ichabod Crane. So I believe that if she gets child support, I believe she should have to be responsible for every single penny. In fact, in the state of Ohio, all those folks are getting child support. You should be responsible for showing what you're spending that money on. If you're receiving alimony, you need to be showing what you're spending that money on. You need to be responsible for every single fucking dime that you spend. Every single dime. Don't forget to call Andrew at 863-633-8275. Tell him that Left, Right, Center LRC said hello. Final words right after this.
You're listening to Left, Right, and Center, your audio guide to help you understand the week's news, the world, and how America shapes it.
Now, back to your host, Will Jackson.
I'm your hostess with the mostest. All right, so I was going to drop some lyrics or some shit. I was going to play something, but I don't know. You guys always get to hear music from me, but I don't know. Let me see if I can find something here. And I'm gonna do this while I'm looking. I'm gonna give my final words, and then also to be a man. All right, let me see here. See if I can play this.
We should listen to it before we do this.
No, it's okay. Where's it at? Play that. I want y'all to Hey Andrew, I want you to.
I don't expect you to understand. I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home. Being a man is what you make it. You can't always live up to expectations. You try to please everybody while you struggle, so you fake it and end up out of balance, compromising situations. As a good man, do what he should, man. I give everything he has and do everything he could, man. You might find yourself feeling all alone inside a house you built that you don't recognize as home. And that's what my daddy told me, and I'll tell my son the same. Now that I'm older, I relate and I actually feel his pain. He never cried, he might have lied, but he did not complain. And he said, son, one day you'll have to do the same. I get emotional when I stop and think and I look around beyond the county lines of my small town. I think about all the men out there who feel like I do now, who are screaming on the inside but won't ever make a sound. expect you to understand. I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home. Don't give up, keep fighting. As a man, our sun is our horizon, and our father's actions play a role, and we end up like them. So they can't let us see them hurt, cause we'll embody what they do and start a generational curse. No wonder most men are so depressed, all the things that they can't express. They go to war, get thrown on the shelf, then go back to war with their mental health. Then grab that bottle and ask for help, try to pull themselves out of hell, then fall back down and then realize that they're gonna have to do it themselves. It's the circle of life. As a man you provide, they don't know what you're worth till the day that you die, and that's when they start crying. Then move on to a man to confide in. That's why we feel we can't hide ourselves. We don't expect you to understand. We just hope we can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road, and you don't care about what we know. It's not about how we feel, but what we provide inside that home. Inside that home. It's not about how we feel, but what we provide inside that home. Inside that.
That's a beautiful song, which actually ties into my final words. And so, I've used the words that I don't like using on my cast in a way in which it's not, when it's geared to the level of a high level of racism. To call someone a spook, a coon, a nigger, and ask them, should I bring you some bananas? That just goes to show the intelligent level of an individual. An individual that may have an IQ of highest 30. It goes to show the respect that the grandmother has for her grandchildren. It goes to show the respect that the mother has for her own children. See, don't get this wrong, folks. The reason why I want you to call Andrew at 863-633-8275, it is not to, well, you can call him a racist. I don't care. And I don't want anyone calling him saying that you're going to kick his ass or you're going to burn his house down. I don't play that. You know I don't play that. I want you to call. I just need everybody to call him. Call Andrew. Again, 863-633-8275. Call him and ask him, why would he be that damn disrespectful to a Marine, an honorably discharged Marine? He hasn't served his service. Why would he be so damn disrespectful in his house? And let him know that my son served his country with honor. My son is a good man. Let him know that if he don't want the calls to keep coming, he needs to send an apology. He needs to send a retract. I'm sorry. He don't know what a retract is. I'm sorry. He probably can't even spell his own name. I mentioned that. So what I want you to do is just keep calling him and let him know what he's done and what he said is unappreciative. And the calls will continue until I know for a fact he has apologized. And I'll call you folks to let you know. Let up. Stop. My Los Angeles peeps. Hitting. New York, Bronx. Hitting. Cleveland. Smash him up. Detroit. Come at him hard. All my Marine Corps listeners. All my vets who served honorably. Don't be a Tupperville. Tell them don't be a Tupperville. Tell them to show some respect and put some respect on our names. Hitting from all sides. Those of you who lost loved ones in fighting. Hitting hard. Call him. Tell him he hasn't earned the right to say the things that he has said to an honorably discharged veteran who happens to be black, and his children, in front of his children, calling him these names. It's a what the fuck moment. That's what it is. Let me say it again. It's a what the fuck moment. And it needs to stop. Oh, my Atlanta. Well, until next time, knuckleheads. Love you. Don't forget to call 863-633-8275.
You've been listening to Right, Left, and Center. Our passion is to talk about today's news, politics, the environment, culture, and anything else that helps shape the news in America. Our 2022 season was so strong, we had to come back and smack 2023 right in the mouth. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And continue to listen on iHeartRadio, Spotify, or anywhere you download your podcasts. See you next time on Right, Left, and Center.